computer. Here we go. Share the sound and share. Ooh, here we are. There's going to be a little bit of an echo because of the way I've got the monitor, but here we go. So this is project 1. And this is just getting you going with Finale. We're going to make an engraving of a 4-part chorale. And it's due next week before class. So 9:19 before 6 p.m. Here's an important feature of this class. You have to be aware of file formats. So you'll submit a PDF. So I don't want project files straight out of your software, right? You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't share that with someone anyway, right? You wouldn't send them a Finale file or a Logic file. You'll send them a produced version. So very important to send a PDF of the score, and I'll show you how to do that. And you'll send a WAV file of the MIDI realization of this piece that you're going to enter. Very important, minus 20 points for incorrect file formats. So we've got a full house of 20 people, and I can't go, running after 20 people for not having the right files. So I need you to have the right file in the Blackboard submission so that I can just look at them straight away and we don't have to, there's no delay in me assessing your work. All right, so here we go. Finale looks like an F. And when you open it, you'll get this window that is for a called Document Setup Wizard. So you're going to click on that. And we're going to create a new ensemble, and Finale Maestro is the style you want. This is important. Click landscape. You'll notice this chorale is in landscape format. So we're going to click on those and click next. And then we're going to have a grand staff. So this is basically a piano score that we're going to start with. And you click add. Later on, you'll enter all kinds of instruments and stuff here when we do more complex scores. But for now, just a grand staff. And here you just enter the piece information. So for art chorale, the composer is J.S. Bach. Oops. You don't have to put his dates, but you can if you want. And that's all we're going to put for this one. You can set the time to common time. And key signature is G major, 1 sharp. We're going to specify initial tempo marking. We're going to do this Gelobet seist du Jesu Christ. This is based on a German chorale. Praised be Jesu Christ. And specify pickup measure. You'll notice there's 1 beat of a pickup measure. So we're going to turn that on and click the quarter note. And then we will click finish. Yay, we have our blank score. And this arrow tool, so this is our tool palettes. So there's a little palette up here of stuff, and then simple entry, and then this is our playback controls. This arrow tool is, you guys have a problem? Hello?
I can't open up Finale.
Just watch and follow along. I'm going to go quite fast, so you can go back. Just get the idea of it for now. This arrow tool is a selection tool. And I'm going to use that. You can actually click on stuff and check it off. All right, a couple of things that are really important. Save as. You'll notice this says untitled. You're going to do save as and give it a descriptive name in a descriptive place. So I have this in a class file folder already. Project 1, chorale, and my name, Murray. So you can always have a descriptive name. There we go. I want you all to use this shortcut. Command S is save. Just do that all the time in Finale. After you do something important, Command S. Likewise, I want you to go into preferences and under finale, and there's a save option to turn on auto save every 1 minute. I'm going to go around and bug everyone and make sure they have that. It's usually set for 15 minutes, which you don't want to lose 15 minutes of work. So auto save every 1 minute. I'm going to do that. All right, so you'll notice this says 51 in the staff name. We're going to do a couple staff setup things. To alter your staff, you go up to Window, Score Manager. And this is our grand staff, and you can see full name display. We're going to just change that to 51. It doesn't matter that much for this project, but I more just want you to know how to change the name, because other projects, when you have a whole bunch of instruments, you're going to want them named so you can find your way in, so I know what instruments you're working with when I look at it. So that's how you change the name of your staff. So to enter notes, here's the magical part. We're going to click on Speedy Entry Tool. Do you notice how if I roll the mouse over these, I can see the names of them? So you can coordinate that with the directions. Speedy is the note icon that looks like it's moving. And here's the magical part. I'm going to click in the score. I'm going to make this bigger so we can really see it. You click into the staff and you turn on the caps lock. So that's in the directions, caps locks, that's in red. And then what you've created now is basically a control path so that you can use the numbers at the top of your keyboard to coordinate with rhythms. So do you see number 5 is a quarter note? That's the first one I need. So I have the caps locks on, and then I'm going to push 5. And I'll take questions at the end because remember, I'm actually recording this. So we're just going to go through and you can just watch as we go, and then I'll come around and help you out. So number 5 is our quarter note. And that means whatever I push on the keyboard, ooh, I get a quarter note. Yay. So if I'm going to put in this top line in the music, the soprano line, and I want to keep doing quarters, I can start entering notes very fast. This last note is a half note, which is number 6. So I'm going to push 6 and then. So that is how speedy entry works. Let's do the tenor part now. So I'm gonna click 5. I have the caps locked on with speedy, and I'm gonna go and enter these notes on the keyboard. Eighth notes are 4. Change to number 4. Yay, we did our first notation. This is an important detail. So the 2 staves in this music are alto and soprano. And we're going to use what's called different layers for them. And to switch between a layer, I'm going to click on this note and push shift down. And you see how on the bottom left it says layer 2? Now I can enter notes for the alto part. Voila, so layer 1 and layer 2. When you do the bass part, do the bass part as layer 2 as well. Don't use layers 3 and 4 for the tenor and bass. They have different functions. So that's an important thing in the directions here. It says important. 1 and 2 for soprano, alto, 1 and 2 for tenor and bass. To navigate through these notes, you can use the arrow keys to go back and forth. If you enter more notes than you're supposed to in a measure, like let's say if I put I just put one more note, and see how it added that weird floating rest? Because it won't let you put more beats than you're supposed to. I'm going to click back in the measure and use the arrow keys to navigate to that rest, and then I'm going to click delete. So I'll probably have to show some of you come around and do that. It's a little bit funny. It puts these mysterious notes that you have to delete if you enter too many notes in the bar. All right, number 7 in the directions. These are some shortcuts that you can work with this speedy entry tool. Delete will delete notes. Yay, I just deleted. If you go over a note and you push L, it flips the stem. So that's a shortcut. Equal sign is a tie. So there are some ties in this. If you push N over a note, it makes it a natural. Shift plus raises a note. Shift minus lowers a note. So that's how you work with accidentals. A dot makes a dot. So there's some logical things in Finale. 9 changes the enharmonic spelling. So sometimes you want an A flat, sometimes you want a G sharp, so forth. Shift 8 is a courtesy accidental. It forces it to show there is a courtesy accidental in this one. Back to this selection tool. So if you want to move measures around, you can select groups you can actually draw with the selection tool, or you can click in where the lines are, hold the shift key down, go to the bottom right and select a group. And if you push the arrow key up and down, do you see how I can move measures around? That's one way to do it. Or the shortcut I have in here is Command Shift M, opens up this fit measure dialog, and you can lock a line of music with how many measures you want. So if I wanted 5 measures in this line, I would lock it with 5 measures, and then it locks it. So that's how you can move measures around in your scoring. So that's number 8 in the directions. A couple of other things in this to add fermatas is with this articulation tool. And you do that by double clicking over a note, and it opens up this palette, and you can see there's my fermata. Or you can do a shortcut if you hold the letter F down while you have the articulation tool engaged, F and click, then you can just add them manually. That's a quick way to add your articulations in the music. So you'll notice I'm going to open up a done file and show you something about the end. You'll notice the very last measure in this one has only 3 beats, and that's to accommodate the pickup measure. So what we're going to do to adjust the last measure, and this is a useful thing, this will you do in other projects too. You're going to click on what's called the time signature tool, so 4/4 sign, and double click in this measure. And we only want 3 beats. So where it says number of beats, we're going to change it to 3. And then measure 10 through 10, just that last measure, and then click more options. Use a different time signature for display. So we're going to display 4/4, but have only 3 beats in the bar. I'm going to click OK, and voila, we've sort of tricked Finale now into rendering only showing 3 beats, even though it's working in 4/4. So that's number 10. You can check that out. So some of the finishing touches after you enter all the data, all the note data, and going through it is adjusting page margins and system margins. And that's with this icon that looks like a piece of paper. And you go up to page layout, systems, and you can also open up page margins. There's 2 different windows. So systems are the space between the lines of music. These are called systems. You see how they're numbered? page margins is all these lines around the edge. So, follow these directions here. Page margins are 0.5 all the way around. You'll notice it's going to change to adjust. And then you enter the info for the space between the systems. And this one's just to get practice doing this. It's not super complicated on this round. Imagine if you have a huge score and you need stuff to fit right, for a conductor or for someone to play it. That's where you start globally affecting the systems of the music. So you can follow those directions. All right, after you enter all this stuff, kind of the icing on the cake for this assignment is first you get to listen to it, see if it plays back. Yay. Okay, it works. And right now it's just a piano plugged in because we did a grand staff. But what I want you to do for learning about MIDI right away is to plug in different instruments to the layers. So Finale has a thing. If we go into audio units, bank and effects under MIDI audio. And hold up, I always save before I do this because sometimes it crashes when you open this. So MIDI audio, units, bank, and effects. There's a thing called ARIA player, and it is basically a mixer that handles this thing called Garriton, which are samples of real instruments. And you can see we have just one track, and I can, engage these tracks to see what's in them, and I can sort of check out the instruments that's loaded in and being sampled. So that's Garriton and ARIA player. That's just to make you aware of that. What we're going to do is go up to window, score manager, and we're going to attach different instruments to the layers. It's one of the reasons I wanted you to do layers in this assignment. And if you go to our score name 51, there's a little arrow right next to it, and you click on it. It opens up our staves, and then we're going to click on this little arrow again, each of these, and now we can see the layers. And the fun part is I want you to come up with a new ensemble. So why don't you all just give me a suggestion of a quartet that could fit into a soprano, alto, tenor, bass. Like let's just make one right now and see how it sounds. String quartet? Okay. Classic. All right, so let's do violin player 1. I'm going to do in layer 1. That's my soprano. Layer 2, we're going to do violin player 2. Then down in our bottom staff, right, which is down here in our tenor line, what instrument should we do there? Viola? Should we do viola? Classic? Okay. And then the bottom layer, let's do cello, right? That's our string quartet. And let's listen to it now. Ooh. Playing music, yes. Okay, so you don't have to do a string quartet. You can experiment with some different stuff, but you may want to go back into this ARIA player, and to engage the different tracks, make sure, check out the range, because you don't want to plug a tuba in to the first part. It's going to be too high, right? So you want to this is where your musical logic's going to come in. You're going to plug in instruments that can play in the range of where you wrote. You can check that out in this player, gives you a piano overlay of the range of the instrument. All right, so that's the basic idea. There's some other little goodies down here about different views if you want to check those out. I'll be showing those more later. I want to make sure we can get going for tonight. When you export, I want to show this is an important part for the video. When you export to a PDF, Mac is not the most friendly. So there's no export for PDF. So we have to act like we're going to print. So to make a PDF in Mac, you print, act like you're going to print. So you click print. Don't give me the beach ball of death. Okay, good. And then you go down here to PDF, save as PDF. This is how I'll need to see it in Blackboard. So don't submit a Finale file. You're going to save as a PDF and you're going to save it to your files and then back it up to your drive. Doing the audio export of your file is very easy. You just go to export and you click on audio file. And you can do AIFF or WAV, it doesn't matter. Either format will work fine. AIFF is just a Apple-based file, which I'll be able to listen to in Blackboards. Great, so assignment checklist. Your score should look exactly like the given example. That's the idea here. This is just an engraving project for the most part. Notice all the markings. You should be on one page, landscape, with the margin specified. You should have different instrument sounds assigned to each layer, like I just showed. Submit a PDF and a WAV file. Be sure to listen to your WAV file that you export, so that it's not blank, right? This is a good professional practice too. You know, you write your masterpiece and you're sharing it with like the $1 million gig that you got with the conductor, and the conductor goes to open it and it's blank. So just start double checking, save yourself the failed reputation, and make sure your files are exactly what you want when you send them to people. All right, so PDF WAV file, -20 for incorrect file format. So really be on that for this class. All right, great. I'm gonna stop the share and